Okay, we're back with the Chauvet Foot C2 DMX controller. I've got these two par 38s set up here, DMX channels 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And we're going to set up some scenes and chases. We're on scene 1. And to begin, we need to go into programming mode. We'll just push and hold. We are in programming mode. And the way I have it set up is fixture 1, obviously, is these controllers for channels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So fixture 1, we've got the red here, and channel 4 gives us the red over here. So we're going to do some simple scenes just to program this. We're going to say scene 1 is the red scene. Actually, we'll make this guy a little purple. There we go, just for a little variety. So when you've got your controller set up to the way you like it, just tap the program button and this should flash. So scene 1 has been programmed. Let's change it to scene 2. This is going to be our greenish scene. We'll make this one green, maybe a little brighter than the other one, and just a touch of red. Oh, too much. There we go. We like this for scene 2, and we just tap program. And let's do one more. We'll go up. We're on scene 3, still on fixture 1. Nothing else has changed, and we'll make this kind of a generic white for everybody. Something like that. And we'll hit program and save that. And we'll do one more. Let's go up to scene 4. And this one we want to have just a little bit of blue. This is going to be a very dark scene, but just a little bit of blue on both. And maybe we add a little bit of green just so they're different. And we'll make it purple. A little bit of red. Okay, so this will be scene 4. And we'll hit program. So now we've programmed scenes 1 through 4. We're going to leave program mode by pushing and holding. We're out of program mode. So if we go down, as you see, as we change scenes, it doesn't actually change. If we want scene 1, we need to hit enter. And here's that first scene that we set up. We can go up to 2. Again, it doesn't change until we hit enter. Scene 3 and scene 4. Now, in any of these scenes, we can black out instantly. We can go down to a scene, say scene 2, hit enter. We're still in blackout, but when we come out of blackout, we'll be in scene 2. So I thought with this board, we could create scenes and then use chase mode to sequence through those scenes. Now, that's not how this controller works. You need to set up your chases completely independently of whatever scenes you have on board. So to do that, we need to hit the mode button and then hit enter. If we hit the mode button, it says chase, and it shows us chase 1 and then the number of steps. But I never hit the enter button. And if we wait just a few more seconds, it'll jump back to scene. So you have to change your mode and enter. So now we're in the chase mode. Chase number 1 has 0 steps, or 0 out of 0. So we have nothing programmed here. So let's set up a chase. We need to go back into program mode, push and hold. So now we're in add mode, and we are still controlling 1. Yes, still controlling the 6 channels. So what do we want to do? Let's just do a red for step 1, and then we just tap program. So it blinks. See, now you can see we have, sorry about the light there, we have 1 step. We're on step 1 out of 1. So we want our next step to be, we'll say, green here and blue here. We can program that. Again, we're on step 2 of 2 now. And let's say step 3, we want to flip that. We want the blue over here, and we want the green over here, something like that. We'll hit program again. Let's say step 4, we want it to just be white. Again, I'm trying to keep the brightness down. Program. And let's say for this next step, we've got a very bright light on this channel. Program. And then for the next step, we have a very bright white on this fixture. Something like that. Let's just turn that down for a second. So now we can see we have programmed 6 steps on chase number 1. And this particular board allows you to save up to 24 steps per chase and allows you to save up to 12 chases. So now that we've got our 6 steps that we want for chase 1, let's leave programming mode. And now it just starts. We are now racing through chase 1, and you can see what step it's on and how many total steps there are. Now what's happening is that this thing has a speed for each transition, and then how quickly it fades. So there's a level of fade going on here, and we can change that using this function button. So when the words are down here on this controller, it needs push and hold. So I'm going to push and hold this. So chase speed is 16. That's as fast as it can go. Let's dial it down a little bit. And you can see it changes when I do that. We're on 13 out of 16. So one of my gripes about this is that a higher speed here, that makes sense. Lower number is slower. But the fade is the other way around. This goes through 1 through 16. Actually, you can do 0 for no fade. So you can see now it snaps. It's going to snap from step to step. And you can see that this is much clearer because the fade is set to 0. A lower number fade is a faster fade. And it's the other way around for the speed number. So if we go back to our function, our speed is 13. And again, we can take this down as low as we want it to. 6 is pretty slow. It's a few seconds per step. And maybe that's what you want. But let's go as fast as we can, which is 16. And you can see now it's very clear steps between each step of the chase. Maybe 15 is better. We'll leave it there. And our fade is at 0. There's no fade between each step. So if we go up, now there's a fade and it gets a little fuzzier. And if you have a fast speed and a high fade, they will all just blur into each other and really nothing's happening. It's hard to see. You can see where ones are turning on and off, but the fade is so high that you don't see any real effect. So let's go back to 1. We can see an effect. You very, very briefly see when the lights are off. And fade 0 is a true snap, which can be, nice when you want it. Let's just leave it there. And now we can see the step that we're on and the total number of steps. We can also use the onboard microphone, and there is an actual input for audio if you want to use it. You can barely see it here. It says music. If I push down, auto changed to music. So now it's changing on sound. It's very sensitive right now. Yeah, it's jumping around quite a bit. So there is a sensitivity button here. Let's turn that down. If I turn it down all the way down, it's not changing. It's looking for a very loud signal. Let's turn up a little bit. See if I can get by just tapping on the table will get it to go. There we go. So now it's going to the music. So you would need to do this with whatever input you have ready to understand what sensitivity you need it to be. But this can be fun too. You can also set the tempo using this tap button. I'm not crazy about it because you need to tap while you're doing it, and I guess I'm just tapping it, and it's going because of the mic inside is hearing the tap. But this you need to tap 2 to 3 times. The time between the first and second press is your speed number, and the time between the second and third press is the fade number. So that's very tough to do, especially live. So I'm not crazy about trying to update the tap sync. I'd rather change it to music if the tempo is off and we didn't like where it was set. We can always go back to auto by pressing and holding, and now it says auto. It's just doing what we told it to do based on the fade and speed numbers that we set. Let's go back to scene mode. And scene 2 was this green and kind of yellowish thing that we did. Scene 2, scene 2. So pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. This is very well built. I feel like I can stomp on this thing and nothing bad's going to happen. The display is pretty bright when you're standing in it, especially in a dark show. You can see this very clearly. It's getting kind of blown out by these lights and the lighting from outside. Being able to see the exact DMX address, I like this number, especially with the macro settings. You can look at the table and figure out what exact number you want it to be. The programming of the scenes and saving it is pretty easy. I wish I could save scenes and then run a chase of different scenes and whatever, or like scene 1, 2, 4, 2, and be able to program that in instead of having to program chases completely separately. I think the biggest issue I have with this controller is using it live. If I'm on scene 2 and I know that scene 3 is coming up, I can queue it up and I'm waiting for, you know, the next song or wherever the next change in the particular song is. But you see it jumped back to 2. If I push up, it takes about 5 seconds. So right now, if I'm waiting and I want to hit this button because scene 3 is coming up, but now it's on 2. So if I want to prepare for a scene change, I need to wait to the very last minute, which I'm not crazy about. I'd rather have it be waiting for me, and then as soon as the new song or, you know, change in the song hits, I can change the scene. So if I'm coming up on a scene change, I'm going from 3 to 4, I have to go like this and just bounce back and forth during the song and wait until 4 is ready. So it's going to take some practice getting used to this very short window of time that it hangs out here. It's the same with the mode change. If you push mode, it's in chase mode. But if you sit here long enough, it's going to bounce back to scene mode. Even if this is for 10 seconds, that would be much better than the 4 or 5 seconds you get. I really wish this was a lot longer. So if we're getting toward the end of a song, I can focus on whatever scene I want it to be, hang out for a couple of seconds. Maybe the song drags out. Maybe something happens during the show. Oh shoot, I got to go back and hit it again. And now I'm late. That's a very bright scene. Let's get out of there. Let's go down to scene 3. There we go. The other issue I have with this controller is that in chase mode, or actually both modes, let's start with fade. Right now, if I go to function, if I hold it down, speed is 5, that's great. Fade is at 0. This is that snappy transition. So if we get out of here, that applies to chases and scenes globally across the entire board. So if I'm going to go to scene 2 and I want to go, it's instant. If I go back to the function and change my fade, let's say to 2, and then get out of here, I can just, yeah, I'm out of here. And now if I go to scene 3, there's a fade to it, which can be nice when you want it. And sometimes you want a hard snap from scene to scene. I wish I could program that, say, scene 3, whenever we go there, has fade step 2 or 3. But if I want to, you know, blow people away with scene 5, I want it to snap. But it doesn't. It fades because of that fade control that we set. It's global for scenes and chases. And I might want a very snappy chase, you know, with 4 lights on at a time. But if I have that fade equal to 0, it applies to all of my scenes as well. So you have to pick a fade that works for you on all scenes and all chases. So what I end up doing is usually doing fade 1. And again, all your chases have to be the same speed. You don't have a choice based on the chase. So here, fade 2, even for some of the transitions, is still slow for me. So fade 1 has kind of become my default fade. So now if I hit it, let's go down to 2. That's still pretty quick. It's not a nice snappy fade, but it's quick enough that you probably won't notice. And then if we go to our chases, enter, you know, it's still pretty snappy. Again, I wish I could change that per chase. I was just messing around for a second there, and I'm just confirming that this chase that I have programmed and this other chase that I have programmed are using the same fade and speed. So you need to pick a fade and speed that you like for everything. I really wish it was customizable, that you could change it per chase and per scene. But otherwise, I really like this board. Let me know what you guys think. It's been fun to play with this thing. I got a series of lights. Check out this other video I made on DMX showing the mapping that I use for some of these SlimPar lights for a pretty basic stage setup that we're doing at a show coming up. Hope you enjoyed.